Hello and welcome to episode 165 of Controller Club, the friendly face gaming space, a podcast where three friends from three continents share in one love, and that is video games. On the docket today, we got our first Nintendo Direct of the Switch 2 era, and we will be doing a midway through the year check-in on this year in gaming. My name is Kleinfeld, and alongside me today are three of my best friends in the whole wide gaming world. First, coming to us from across the pond, it is the digital art daredevil himself, a night owl today and recording. It is midnight over there. Tom Drew, how's it going? What's going on? I love the Universal Studios shirt. That is fantastic.
Thanks so much. I mean, yeah, for your YouTube view, you can see ET here, the Back to the Future logo. So that's very fun. Yeah, I am a bit of a night owl, and it's been no different this whole week because yesterday I finished Donkey Kong Bonanza, and it was like 2 a.m. by that point, and I first thing I did was message Klein. I was like, I finished Donkey Kong Bonanza. I can't believe it. That ending just goes and goes and goes. You're like, I think I've got to the end now. Oh, there's more. Oh, there's a little bit more. Which isn't a bad thing. But it's just a little bit crazy. But no, I'm sure I'll be talking about a bit more about that in this episode. But yeah, glad to be here.
We're happy to have you, Tom. I would say it's actually a good thing how long that ending goes
Yeah.
on, because it only gets better and better and better. Next up, it is journalist extraordinaire, the Australian abroad / Canadian in training, fresh off a visit to San Diego Comic-Con, Lauren Rouse. Lauren, welcome back. Welcome to the show. How's it going? How was your trip? Tell us everything. Well, not everything. We'd be here for a couple of hours, but highlights, top level. How are you doing?
Yes, thanks. Very happy to be back. I feel like I've lived 10 lifetimes since I saw you all. It's only been like 10 days, but still, I've entered another realm. It's strange, actually visiting the US from Canada now, because usually I come back and forth from Australia, but going to countries that share a border that are actually quite similar. It's like entering the Twilight Zone almost in this country that's kind of similar, but not quite. Like you all have similar accents, but not really. And some things are the same and not. So that was interesting. Bit of a strange experience. But yes, Comic Con was a really great con, I thought, this year. Maybe not the best one I've been to, but definitely not the worst. Saw a lot of really cool things. I might share some stories later in the pod. But yeah, very happy to be back and to come back to three of my favorite faces.
Yes, and you set it up perfectly. We do have a special guest. If you are listening to the podcast, digital and social producer, our good friend from ABC Gamer, David Smith, is joining us for the second time. He was on a year ago to do a very similar podcast to this, very different circumstances at the time, but things are happening. David, welcome back to the show. What's been going on in your life over the last year? How's it going?
Hello, mates. It's good to be back. Lots going on over the last year. I have moved from Melbourne to Sydney, which was a bit of an undertaking. I've been here about 6 months to pick up the job at ABC Gamer, which fell into my lap at just the right time. It's very cool to still be in games media. We did it, baby. We moved on from Kotaku Australia at the end. We've moved into another space. I'm in video now. Who can believe I've gone from writing words to making videos every day?
That's awesome. And how is it? How has that leap been in jumping over to ABC Gamer, going from writing to video? Have you adapted to it? I noticed the first thing I said when you hopped on the call was, "You're in a different place. I don't recognize this
Yeah.
background at all."
I know my background's gone. No, I basically had to pack everything up, sell off whatever I could, throw it all in the back of a Toyota Land Cruiser, and drive it all up here to pick up the job with ABC. It's been great. Like, I mean, the ABC for the international audience is our national broadcaster, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation. We are government funded. So it's a very, very different environment from working in commercial, where we were at Kotaku Australia, to come over to the ABC. It's a real treat and a privilege to work for the ABC. We are the gaming voice there. We are the ones that are almost, not quite, but almost the only part of the business that's talking about games in any capacity. So we very much tried to transfer what we were doing with Kotaku Australia, trying to help people see games a little bit differently, and we're trying to do it over there. There's been some really good progress so far. We've just shot a bunch of really cool stuff that I hope we get to show you really soon, because I'm making TV now, if you can believe it. Yeah, no, lots of cool stuff going on. It's a very cool job. I'm very, very pleased to have it.
I can imagine ABC, very big corporation, but I'm going to ask you one last question, then we can move on. Lauren knows
Mhm.
this about me. I am a huge Triple J fan. Are you sharing the office with Triple J? Is
I
it the
do.
same building at least? Oh my
I
goodness.
do. I
Oh
do. I
my
do.
gosh.
They're
David.
down the other end of the building from us. But yes, no, many friends, even from pedestrian, working at Triple J. I got to very briefly see in the hallway our friend Courtney Fry, who Lauren will remember from pedestrian for the recent hottest 100 of Australian songs. That was very, very cool to have all these people coming and going from the building. Even during our recent federal election, we had a lot of election coverage going on downstairs. You keep bumping into faces that you know from TV, and then you realize, no, I work in the building. These people are here all the time. It's wild. It's taken some getting used to, for sure.
That's amazing. That's awesome. Well, let's get into it. We got a podcast to do here. We'll jump into the news we choose. We have one story this week. Tom Drew, give us that news jingle.
It's the news we choose. Yeah.
Oh, so good.
You like hearing it live?
Beautiful.
We got to make merch. I've thought about even
Oh my
producing it,
God.
taking
Yes.
Tom's voice and doing
remixed.
doing some musical thing with it. No, it's better live. We got to keep doing it live forever. We'll put it on
We're
a
gonna-
t-shirt.
We're going to print a shirt with the sine wave on it.
Oh,
that.
I like it. I like
That's
it. I
cool.
like it. We have one story this week. We got a Nintendo Direct. It happened finally after what felt like months of speculation. I think it really only ever boiled down to weeks of speculation. A Nintendo Direct happened in July, the very first Nintendo Direct of the Nintendo Switch 2 era. And it wasn't exactly what everyone had expected. We'll jump right into it. After weeks of speculating, this Thursday, it was early morning for me. I think it was probably afternoon for you, David, or the middle of night.
Middle of the night.
Middle of the night. Tom had it perfect timing, right in the middle of the day. We finally got a new Nintendo Direct, but as I said, it wasn't exactly as fans had thought it would be. Instead of being a mainline Direct, like everyone thought was going to happen, the big July Direct was going to come. It wasn't. It was a partner showcase highlighting several third-party games coming to the Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2 systems. The live stream, it ran roughly 27 minutes and included news on 25 newly announced and upcoming titles. Highlights from the event included a new entry into the Square Enix Octopath Traveler series, Octopath Traveler 0, ports of recent console hits like Persona 3 Reload, coming to the Switch 2, and I think the Switch 1, and a bizarre social space where you can build fires with friends. And a new game called
I
Chillin' by
love
the
it.
Fire.
I was playing it last night. I love it.
So I want to ask everybody here, did we get the chance to watch the Nintendo Direct? What did we think of it? David, it seems you were amped up to talk about Chillin' with by the Fire, so we can do that. Lauren, you've been away. We haven't heard your voice in a while, so we're going to go to you first. Did you get a chance to sit down and enjoy the Nintendo Direct here?
Oh, you should not have come to me first. I have the least to say about this. I watched it in like 20 minutes before this started because, yeah, I just did not have time while I was traveling. And yeah, I just sort of skimmed through. I was like, oh, yeah, there's nothing here really for me. I was interested to see that Borderlands 4 is going to the Switch too because I just sort of don't associate those kind of shooter games with being on the Switch. So that's kind of cool to see that it's getting some more like newer releases coming down the pipe. Out of the ones that was there, I was kind of intrigued by Chillin' by the Fire. It looks fun. I just want to hang out. I don't really go to campfires much because the smoke makes me like sneeze. So this is like a way to that dream.
$14.99 for Chillin' by the Fire, folks. $14.99 US dollars. That's like, I think 2 Nintendo welcome tours. I forget. I try to remember what a welcome tour is. Tom Drew, what did we think of the Nintendo Switch partner showcase here?
Yeah, so I watched this live, and I didn't really have any expectations for this, but I still felt like coming away from it, I was hoping for a little bit more. There were some cool things here, like Hyrule Warriors: Age of Imprisonment. It was nice to see that here, but no release date though. Like it feels like that they could have at least given us something, even if it was just like, oh yeah, it's coming early 2026 or whatever, which is kind of the expectation now if there's no release date. But a new Katamari game, I think that's kind of cool. And then also the other big one was a game we already knew was kind of coming out, but I've not seen any like gameplay from it. It was Chronos: The New Dawn, which is like this horror game from Bloober Team, who worked on the Silent Hill 2 remake, and it looks cool from the gameplay they showed, and it seemed to run very well. It gave me like big Resident Evil 2 remake vibes.
Resident Dead Space.
There you go. It looked like this perfect melding of all that, and I just really love the vibe. But I think just like seeing a lot of these games, I mean, honestly, like a lot of people are memeing on Chilling by the Fire. I thought that was probably one of the highlights of the showcase. I thought it looked like a little bit of fun. But I think a lot of these games, and maybe it's the fact that this was kind of splintered between, Switch games and Switch 2 games. And I know they want to still support like the original Switch. I think that's still like a good thing.
There's a lot of them out there, Tom.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, you have to do that. It would be stupid not to. But it does feel like a lot of these games that were showcased did feel a little bit hampered by the fact that they are kind of restricted to that old hardware. At least, like for example, the Katamari game. I am excited for that game. I love Katamari. But it's running off that old engine that was on the Switch 1. I would have loved to see like what they could have done with a Katamari game with taking full advantage of the Switch 2's hardware, for example. And just seeing a couple more games that did that. I mean, we got like Star Wars Outlaws. It's looking a little bit rough, but it's on there, I guess. But I was kind of hoping we'd get a couple more things, like seeing Elden Ring or seeing Final Fantasy VII Remake and those sorts of things. Just seeing what we can really do with the Switch 2 hardware and pushing it to its limits with these kind of third parties. But yeah, so I'm a bit mixed on this direct overall, I think.
Tom, you didn't say the magic words. We didn't see Silk Song.
I completely blanked on that.
It's still floating out in the ether.
True.
That thing's getting its own direct, mark my words.
An hour with Hollow Knight Silk Song. David, what did you think about tuning in for this showcase here? Are you similar levels of hype to the rest of the podcast? What did this live up to your expectations as the first post Switch 2 release direct?
Yeah, in that my expectations were set firmly at a middle. This was more or less exactly what I thought was coming. Nintendo has been leaning very, very hard on third party, being like very much saying like, look at all the stuff that can run on our hardware now that couldn't before. As we can see, as Tom pointed out, like Star Wars Outlaws looking like it's running on low to medium settings, and that's fine. It'll be okay. I'm sure it'll run fine. Borderlands 4, interesting. I am very keen to see how that runs on a Switch 2. I understand like they're putting more shooters over there because of the mouse controls, and that is a good fit for first-person shooters. Though Borderlands 3 was kind of famous for running like a wet week, even on high-end PCs. So I'm interested to see how Borderlands 4 runs just on good hardware, and then we'll see how it does on the Switch 2. Beyond that, yeah, more or less proceeding exactly as planned. Like lots of third-party stuff, lots of stuff that exists on other platforms. No real major surprises. Yeah, as I say, like I got quite worked up about Chilling by the Fire. That is a game that it feels very close to kind of childhood memories for me, because I grew up in like a beachside town in kind of rural Australia. And that's kind of what we did when we were teenagers. We would go to the beach and we would build these huge bonfires. And now they've made a game about doing that. Played a little bit of it last night. It is actually surprisingly complex in how it wants you to build your fires. The first level is quite easy to get through, and then it starts adding layers of complexity, like cold wind blowing through and it being very difficult to keep the fire lit and growing. So yeah, there's more there than I think people are kind of expecting. It is very memey being able to get on the camera and have people sit around it. But yeah, on the whole, not bad. I'm happy that I spent the whatever it was in Australian, $23, $24 to buy that one. But yeah, beyond that, pretty straightforward. I was excited to see Octopath coming back. That excited me much more than the other Square Enix RPG. That one kind of looked like
really Adventures of Elliot. I thought that to me screamed awesome. Like I'm very looking forward to that game simply because it's another HD 2D game in a different, not in a turn-based RPG. Like they are now maybe trying to explore other genres with it, and that excites me because
That is
maybe
interesting.
we
I will
get
say, yeah.
remakes of the, I don't know, Secret of Mana or that series in this style, or maybe we get
Well, that's
other
kind of
more
how I
Zelda-like
felt.
games.
I was sort of like, this looks like off-brand Mana. Why aren't we just doing Secret of Mana?
But they did the same thing when they introduced HD 2D to start with Octopath Traveler, right? They didn't come with the Final Fantasy remakes to start. They came with, okay, we have an original IP that is very Final Fantasy coded. It's got its own unique quirks, and then we're going to go do Final Fantasy and Live Alive and Dragon Quest in this style. And now they're doing this, and then maybe we can go and do the Mana games or something like that after. I thought Adventures of Elliot, I haven't played the demo yet. There is a demo on Switch 2, and I'm itching to try it because that to me, I feel like this game could be something up my alley. I need to give it a shot first.
I did think those announcements look really cool, like those RPGs, and I love the HD 2D like aesthetic. I just wonder if like ending the showcase on like two of those back to back, I think it's just kind of a weird way of structuring it. It's like for a lot of people, and you know, for me, like I'll say, like I've got my expectations up when they were like, and we got 2 more games, guys, don't worry. And the fact that those are like 2 very similar art styles, and very like the gameplay's like very similar. I guess it's turn-based versus, you know, like real time, but it kind of deflated me a little bit. And I think the thing that is just getting me is that like this is it is like the first direct since the Switch has been out. I kind of was hoping that Nintendo would put their foot forward like a little bit better than this. It just like the whole kind of marketing around the Switch 2 has just been so just bizarre to me, like as a whole. And it seems like it's continuing the trend with this direct. And you know, like the Switch 2 is still selling really well. I think I read some of those like 6 million units. Is that right?
Yeah.
Which so it's doing amazing well. So it you know, maybe they're mad geniuses and it's like this is all part of the plan and it's fine. But to me, I'm like I just question like a lot of the decisions here. And I know it's like hard to judge because like this is a partner showcase, not a standard direct. But it makes me wonder, like, we still have like a lot of release dates like in the ether at the moment. It'd be nice to kind of lock those down.
I think we will, and I think we will soon. Probably first, second week of September, we'll get a traditional direct. We'll get a Metroid release date. We'll get a Kirby Air Riders release date. We'll see what their 2026 perhaps looks like a little bit. See whatever that Fire Emblem remake that has been apparently done for years and is just sitting. I think we're going to get a traditional Nintendo Direct in not too long time. So it will happen. This is just something they had to do. It is weird that it is the third-party focus direct, and the rumor is that dev kits for the Switch 2 didn't like go out to a lot of third parties until release day. So that's a little bizarre. The one note I will say that I noticed as a longtime Nintendo fan is there was a lot of EA in this, and EA traditionally has not been very supportive of Nintendo consoles. So that is really interesting to see. We had both FIFA, or not FIFA anymore, FC and Madden. We had Plants vs. Zombies. We had Apex Legends. Like that's 4 games in, it's like a fifth of the showcase almost in just EA titles. And so that's interesting to see that they are perhaps seeing some success on the first Switch and are maybe trying to turn the corner with the Switch 2. Apparently, from what I've heard, that My Sims collection they put out last year did surprisingly well for them. So that is just something to keep an eye out on, like as we go forward into this generation.
Whatever breakdown in that relationship occurred, it sort of happened back around the Wii U era. Something happened and EA got off the platform. Kind of time. Yeah, and whatever it was, it seems that roadblock has been cleared, and EA back. I did notice, like Tom, you mentioned the show ending with like Square Enix back to back. There was quite a bit of that through the show. It seems like whoever was selling the show at Nintendo was blocking it out. It was kind of like, this is the Bandai Namco section, and now we're getting into the Sega bit, and now we're going to talk about like EA's bit. They had like 4 or 5 trailers in a row. Ubisoft had a couple of them, Just Dance and Star Wars, and I think that was probably about it.
They keep making those Just Dance games. I've every time I see it, it's like, oh yeah, They just keep making these, and they keep selling, I guess.
Yeah, I was doing the live react video yesterday, and I was even saying on that, I haven't cut it together and got it up on the channel yet, but those Just Dance games are so wildly popular. They don't get the respect that they deserve. They sell off their heads very quietly every single year. They've been keeping the Wii and the Wii U alive for well past their use by dates. No, it were wildly popular, and Ubisoft doesn't really trumpet them enough for how much money they make, that company.
They don't need to, because the people go out every year and they just pick up the new one and they move on. I think it was 2 years ago or last year where they officially ended support on the Wii versions, which is just like, that's insane. That's crazy. That's insane.
Yeah.
Like, that's the Wii U's, or the Wii is all like turning 20 next year. Like, that's nuts. But that's kind of it for the Nintendo Direct. As I said, we'll probably get like a full Nintendo Direct coming very soon, which I think will be a little more substantial, and we'll see kind of what Nintendo has in store. But that's it for the news. We can get into the meat and potatoes of the episode. What's been going on for the first 6 months of the year in gaming? Tom, Drew, give us this outro and we'll jump right into it.
It's the news we choose. Yeah.
We're going to head right over to our Q2 Game of the Year check-in. We did this last year with David, where we just took stock of things. We checked the first 6 months of kind of what's happened, what is coming, the things we've played, the things we've liked, the things maybe we haven't liked, general trends that we're seeing, and then look forward and maybe make an early Game of the Year prediction if we're feeling comfortable right now. But to start, I want to ask everyone here on the panel, how has gaming been for you in 2025? What are some of the things that you've noticed, maybe the biggest stories, how you've been playing personally, any trends that you're noticing? David, you're like right in it, especially in your new role. So how has gaming for you been? I'm sure it's been completely different than it ever has been. And what have you kind of been noticing trend-wise across the industry?
On a personal level, surprise, gaming has been quite sparse for me because I was moving cities and getting set up. As far as like trends and things like that go, it seems like we have, particularly in the last 12 months, we've finally hit a wall on. It seems like we've found the upper bound on what people are prepared to live with in terms of live service. Concord kind of set the ball rolling on that one, and I've seen pushback, particularly in the shooter space, on more of that. I'm interested to see all the stuff that's come out about Battlefield 6 over the last couple of days from that preview event that just happened in LA. It seems very much like EA is taking a back to basics approach on that. The marketing line has been like, this is a success at a Battlefield 3 and 4. Like, they're really trying to push, this is not one of those treadmill shooters that makes you buy a battle pass and then puts like Beavis and Butthead skins in it. This is a mil sim the way you like it and have historically liked it. That's been a big one for me. The other side of that has been like, there's been just like more and more breakout hits in the indie space. Blueprints, Schedule 1, games like that really like chewing up numbers on Steam, holding people's attention for quite a while. Even on the AAA side, you're seeing people like withdraw a little bit, right? Like take more time. Assassin's Creed Shadows is sort of a proof of life there, that like major AAA studios are willing to step back a little bit, take a little bit more time, spend a little bit more money on making sure these things ship right. It's I don't know. There is. It feels like there is something bigger to come. There is a tipping point ahead. What that is specifically, I am not sure. I hesitate to say the C word, crash, but we will see. Jobs are still being lost. Budgets are still inflating. I don't know. I don't know where it's all headed, but there are some very interesting data points in the mix.
Lauren, what about you? Do you have as dire an outlook, I guess I would say, on the gaming industry after the first half?
I'm very gloomy. Sorry, I'm very gloomy.
I kind of like David's point about the success of indie games, because I'm seeing that in multiple industries right now, like particularly work, like being so ingrained in the entertainment industry. Like, there's been a lot of success in seeing indie movies do really well and sort of skirt that sort of studio system where, like, people will show up for the big budget IP, but it's never making as much as it used to. It's not as successful. Whereas something like Anora winning Best Picture, that was completely indie. And now it feels like there's being a bit of a reset in that industry, where a lot of people are looking for more creativity and originality, and that's coming in the indie space. And I feel it's kind of similar in gaming as well. Like, yeah, we're going to turn up for things like Battlefield and Mario Kart and things like that. Those will always be big tent poles, but then there are smaller games like Clair Obscur and Blueprints and those other ones that are just like coming out from the woodwork and getting really successful. Even Balatro last year, like I'm really enjoying that. And I think it's kind of, I'm not sure I'd say it's like impacting me too personally, but I am looking at it and being like, I think I should like spread my wings a little bit more, because I feel like I just try to hit the big tent poles so that I can like be a part of the conversation, or like maybe those are the things I'm most familiar with, but it's like encouraging me to spread my wings a little bit more and be like, no, I should try this like shorter indie experience and things like that. So I think that's kind of been a big takeaway of the year. I also think just from us as a group, as a podcast, there have been a lot of big things to cover this year. Like we have been doing a lot of live stream covers. Particularly, we had Summer Games Fest. We've had lots of directs and PlayStation showcases, and of course the Switch 2 launch was huge for us. Even though I don't have a Switch 2, that did feel like probably the biggest thing that happened this year. So that was really fun to cover. But apart from that, yeah, sad about the layoffs as well. I thought we were done with that, to be honest. But we really not like how many did they get rid of from Microsoft recently? It was a lot, right? Like 6,000?
As many as 9,000.
9,000, so even worse. Like I just still can't comprehend all of that. But I do hope that like feeds into the point I was making before, where it's like these people will go away and hopefully not lose that faith in the industry and just start making new stuff, and that will give them the success they need versus being tied to a big corporation.
Tom, what about you? Have you been as, I don't know, looking to the indie space as Lauren has been over the last 6 months here in 2025? Because that seems to be kind of where the big successes are happening right now. If you look at just the AAA side of things, it is kind of a depressing picture to paint.
Yeah, I mean, like personally, in terms of like the games I've been playing, not so much, but the games I've kind of been like observing from afar and like consuming content around. Definitely, like there's like so many indie games at the moment that I'm like I want to play. Like one example is Peak, which is like a game where you have to climb this mountain essentially, and you can do it in like groups of 2 or 4, or you can do it by yourself, and it's like a really charming art style and also very difficult. So it's games like that get me really excited. That like, oh, you can do these like really make these really fun experiences, and it doesn't have to be like a AAA budget. It can be made by these small teams, and that does give me a lot of hope. And like, you know, I was like, for example, I was just complaining in the direct like of these games like, oh, we don't have releases for this and this, but like I feel like there are so many like hidden gems and indie stuff. There's almost like too much stuff to like even sink your teeth into, that it is kind of like, oh yeah, there is still stuff to look forward to and still stuff to be excited about, which is nice. Stuff that's already out. But yeah, I mean, like you guys said, layoffs suck, obviously. It is a shame that we're still in that mode. Picking on one of like David's points, with Assassin's Creed Shadows, I hope like corporations look and developers look to that game and like, okay, we are going to take our time with getting these games right, because, well, honestly, like they can't afford to anymore, because if the game is a dud, like that means more jobs get lost, and maybe we don't see another Assassin's Creed down the line. So I am glad that there seemed to be more of a trend of like they want to get these things right and make sure that these games are as good as they can be in the AAA space. But it is just like interesting to like look at that side of the industry, and you kind of have to look like, oh, this game is really good. Can't wait for the sequel in like 6-7 years for some games at this point. Which is just like kind of a crazy thing to kind of crazy space to be in with all of these AAA things. And like I said, there's a lot to play in the meantime. But I wonder if there's a more sustainable way that we can be going about some of these things in gaming. I don't have the answers. I'm not a game dev. I'm not a game CEO. I don't know what to do about all that. But yeah, it does make me wonder about all of that sort of stuff.
It feels like it's a matter of like expectations, right? Like there was a report not that long ago about Battlefield 6. Not to bring it up again, but the report was that EA was looking for about 100 million players for that game in order to consider it a success. Battlefield has never pulled those kinds of numbers in its life.
Few games
certainly
have.
not. Few have, right? Like certainly not against something like Call of Duty, which has consistently blown it out of the water on like unit sales. You're setting those people up to fail if that's what you want. You are wasting money. You are throwing money away on a game that by definition cannot succeed if that is what you want. Like, what are we doing here? We need this. Like, if they want that kind of those kinds of numbers, like there needs to be some kind of a reset. We got to go back to like the PS2 era, even where it was a matter of like making these smaller games with smaller teams, with smaller scopes and smaller budgets, allowing those teams to experiment with interesting ideas, putting it out, and being okay with a modest level of success. What would be considered modest by today's standards, what was considered a success at that time. Maybe that's just all it is. We just need to reframe this shit, this stuff. Sorry, I shouldn't swear. This is a family podcast. I get very worked up. Maybe we need to cognitively reframe this stuff a little bit. It's starting to feel like these numbers are unattainable. Like we are asking people to climb impossibly high mountains, and we got to start coming back down because it can't be sustained.
Well, that 100 million player number is like, that is because they've spent the last, I don't know, however many years, 4 studios across their team, plus other support studios, everyone in EA working, and they have to justify the cost somehow. And so that's where you get a number like that. Honestly, that number specifically sounds like somebody who's never touched a game in their entire life, never even touched the industry, throwing out a number, because that's insane. 100 million players playing Battlefield. That's, as I said, you can probably count the number of people who have, like the number of games who have done that on 2 hands. Like there's not very many. And so that seems absolutely crazy to me. And I agree with you, David. I think there is a reset point coming, whether as the C word, whether you want to say it or not. I think the word crash can be relative. So like, I think there's some sort of bubble that will pop. How big that bubble is remains to be seen. But there is definitely something coming, because I don't think it's sustainable to work on a game for 10 years and then put it out, have your entire team get laid off because it didn't hit the mark, and then everyone leaving the industry.
Or in the case of Everwild, never come out at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You work on a game, the dev times are just so long now that these people who've worked 7 years in your career is a long time. And then to have it canceled and nothing to show for it is, that's awful. That's crazy. No portfolio work, nothing. That's brutal.
What a waste of time and money. Like, and it's not the people who have made the decision to let it go on that long that are losing their jobs. It's the creatives that slaved away to try and get that thing out the door that pay the price.
Lauren, do you have a solution?
Lauren, bring it back up. You got to bring the mood back up, mate.
Oh, God.
Well, one way we can do it, one way we can bring up the mood here is talking about the things that we have enjoyed. We can talk about the good, the great, the amazing in the world of gaming here in 2026, or not 2026. I'm already living in the future, 2025, because we have had some good. We had, as you said, a new console launch happen. The Nintendo Switch 2 is here. There are some great games on it. There's other great indie games, great tentpole AAA games. There's a lot to play. So let's talk about, we each brought kind of 3 games that we want to talk about of things that we've enjoyed here in 2025. I don't know if we want to go kind of person by person and go down someone's list, and then if you hit something that's on somebody else's list, we can all kind of sit down and talk about it. I want to go to you, David, first, because you've talked about a few things that you have been playing, but you haven't gotten to play a lot of stuff. So you've kind of, I'm sure, been sampling the buffet table in the time that you've been getting gaming these days.
Very much so. I mean, I guess I'll kick off with one that I've sort of gotten to play the least, but really want to play more of, which is Clair Obscur. What a game. Here's a perfect example of one of these games that's doing exactly what we were talking about a moment ago. Bringing that scale down, working with what you've got and trying to do something really interesting with it. It feels very, very similar to games like Persona, your Atlas RPGs, but is decidedly French in its sort of aesthetic and its approach.
It's very, very French.
It's very French. And yet I've only played like 5 or 6 hours of this game and I can't stop thinking about it. Very, very keen to kick on with that one. My colleague, Jem Driscoll on ABC Gamer has played quite a bit of it and has been emotionally devastated by it, both through its twists and turns. I'm looking forward to a bit of that myself. Lots of sort of smaller stuff I've had on the go this year. I mean, I've played through some of the bigger titles like through the Switch 2 launch, Mario Kart Worlds and DK Bonanzas. I think there's people who are sort of better equipped to talk about those than I am, so I'll leave them for everybody else to chat about. Some of the stuff that did excite me, I mentioned Schedule 1 before. That is a game made by a solo Australian dev that blew up Steam earlier in the year. It is about being a purveyor of illicit substances.
Oh, this is the drug dealing game.
Yeah.
Okay. I have heard about this.
Yeah, it's surprising how compelling it is. There's only like sort of a couple of areas of it where I was a bit like, oh, this is kind of edgelord stuff. I'm not that into it. What I do think is interesting about Schedule 1 is how it portrays the drudgery of day-to-day life doing that job, right? Like creating all of these substances, these drugs, and then getting them out into the streets. It's just a lot of admin, and they lean into that. And I think that's really interesting as a mechanical hook. I wake up every day. I go and I see my dealers. I get the money from them. I make sure they've got enough product to kick on for the rest of the day. What else do I need to do? I need to go and make sure that everybody who works for me has been paid. I'll take care of that. Do we need any more supplies? I'll run down to the shop. I'll get some bags. We'll get some chemicals. What else do we need? I'll run back to the grow house just to make sure that everything's going along fine there. Who needs clippers? Have you guys all got clippers? Great. It's that kind of thing. Like, you're very much like hands off with a lot of this stuff, and I think it's so interesting as a concept.
It's not quite Breaking Bad.
No, not quite. It throws a few Breaking Bad references in there where it can, but no, it's very much more like, it's like, no, get yourself a notebook and a spreadsheet and figure out what your day is going to look like. Another one that I played quite a bit of, I started to review it and ended up just running out of time to put the review up, but was Roadcraft. It was a game made by the team that made like Mud Runner and Snow Runner. It's a surprisingly fun multiplayer experience. It's a game about being a company that performs rescue operations in areas that have been devastated by weather events like storms and things like that. You are basically taking heavy machinery through storm-destroyed areas and trying to rebuild the road, bridge, and rail infrastructure that will allow other rescue teams to get in and save people. It's so sick. It is a really, really interesting puzzle game. It doesn't look like it on the surface. It's like, it's just driving trucks through mud. No, it's way more complicated than that and way more interesting. I urge people to check that one out. It's, I think in Australian, I think it's $50 Australian, which is sort of half price for us. It's well worth it. Check it out. I think if you get a few people in a Discord call to play together, you'll really enjoy it. Well worth checking out. That one's Roadcraft. Beyond that, I think the big AAA that I've really enjoyed this year so far, Assassin's Creed Shadows. Is that going to get blown out of the water by Ghost of Yotei? Yeah, probably. I really liked Ghost. It's probably going to get pipped, I think, for me. But I really did like seeing what felt like Assassin's Creed remembering itself and coming back to something that felt much more substantial and much more interesting, not quite so sprawling as it did. It felt much more authored. It felt much more clear-headed about what it was and what it wanted to do. It had a pair of really interesting main characters, which they haven't had for a while. I wasn't a big Valhalla fan. I thought that was just too much of too much. Shadows felt much more focused. Even though it is a big game, it felt much more focused. It felt much more, clear in its thinking and its design. I'm very happy to see it. I hope Ubisoft keeps that ball rolling. That was a really long answer. My apologies.
No, that's what we're here to. That's what you're here to do. I think Shadows for me is the number one game that I want to go back to. That I got pulled away. I think it was Blueprints at the time pulled me away, and I got really into that. And then it was taking up hard drive space. But the more and more I think about Shadows, the more I just want to go and exist in that world again. And for particular travel reasons or not, maybe I do want to go and explore feudal Japan. Is all I'll say right now. But I think that I think Assassin's Creed Shadows is like probably one of the great like Assassin's Creed games for me.
Totally. Yeah.
I think it's definitely up there. Also, shout out Claire Obscure. I continue
So
playing that game, David. It's one of the best game stories I've ever experienced. It is just insane. Lauren,
we're going to get off this pod and I'm going to go straight back to it.
You better. You get parrying with Miel and all the homies. Lauren Rouse, what have you been playing in 2025 so far? And do they match up with David's list at all?
Well, I actually just want to pause on David's list. Maybe we can each sort of comment on each one, seeing as we're going through them all at once.
Oh no, firstly, it's great. For me.
No. Firstly, it's great that there was like so many games that I didn't even know existed, because on this podcast we all talk to each other. All the games that we're going to bring up today, we've probably already talked about on the podcast. So to hear some different ones was really cool. Like the schedule one, I don't know. There's something that I'm noticing in a lot of indie games these days, which is kind of just like life simulators. Like, why do we feel drawn to doing sort of games like that, where it is like, I could be doing this in the real world, maybe not drug dealing, but some people are.
Good.
And like sort of making that a reality in a game. It's just interesting. There was also there was one a few years ago. I think that was just like working in an office simulator or something.
Yeah. So I find that Power Wash, all that kind of stuff.
I love Power Wash. Power Wash is the most satisfying.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. You're right though. Like those games have been popping off and there's something to that. Like there's a sense of, I don't know if it's like, there's a sense of control to it. Like here is one task I've been given to the exclusion of everything else and I can just focus on that. I don't know. There is something to that though, Lauren. You are right.
The more depressing answer is that it's a way that you can succeed that you might not in real life.
True.
Yeah,
there's almost like a mindless nature to it too. Even though there is some thinking in Schedule 1, it is kind of like a step by step. You know, once you figure out the steps, you keep doing them, and you can almost just melt away in it. You're not really thinking about intricate puzzles or intense platforming. It's just like, okay, I need to I wake up, I go do this. I think that's why Stardew resonated with so many people. Same thing. It's like I have my routine. I do that routine over and over again.
What does it say about us that there's such an appetite for these games?
100%. But also on Assassin's Creed Shadows, I did play that for like half a second. I think it came out in this flurry of games that I wanted to play all at once. And so it was kind of one where I was like, I think was I about to come to London? Something was about to happen. But I played like an hour and then I was like, okay, this is great. But then like knowing how much was ahead of me, I was like, I can't commit to this right now. So I stopped and I haven't gone back. But I'm interested to go back. My only thing is that I'm also really hyped for Ghost of Yotei, and I don't want to play 2 Feudal Japan games this year. So particularly of similar size, and I know which one's going to be better. So that's probably going to hit pause maybe for a while. I probably might not go back to it for like a year or so.
Shadows might be a good Christmas game or something.
Yeah, when you just got like an extended break, I think that will be the one. But on my list, I think I have completely different games. A lot of them did come out in that brief period, I think of like March, April. One of them is South of Midnight, which I've been on and off all of this year playing. That comes from Compulsion Games. Their previous game was We Happy Few, which I also really liked. But it's a complete heel turn for them in that they've gone into this sort of fantasy action adventure genre rather than being a bit more of like a dystopian walking sim. And so this was interesting to play. I'm still not quite finished. I would say I'm like 3/4 of the way through. So that's been enough to like form a judgment. And I really like what they're doing with it. Like the world is so beautiful. It's got this awesome stop motion kind of 3D animation style. It's set in like this kind of fantastical version of the Deep South in the US. And it's got like delightful music, all these great character designs, like great voice actor performances. It's really great, but it just doesn't quite gel in some certain ways, which I think is why I also stopped with We Happy Few. It's just like they do a lot of things right, but then it just gets super repetitive. And so I think with this being their first game in this genre. Like, that's to be expected. It's just like testing the waters essentially. So I think this was like a great start, and I'm really excited to see if they do another one in this style, like what they fix and change. But it has been yeah, definitely one of the standouts of the year for me so far, and was one that I was very excited to play coming into the year. I don't know if anyone else has played it. I think it might just me because it's an Xbox game, just me.
We did review it on the channel. Our reviewer Joe Reardon played it, quite enjoyed it, but felt very similarly to you that it does get quite repetitive. Aesthetically gorgeous, does get repetitive.
Yeah, so I'm kind of at this point finishing it for the sake of finishing it. I just want to find my mom, you guys. Like, she's been missing for ages. Anyway, so I'll probably report back on that in a few weeks. Next on the list for me is Doom: The Dark Ages. This is like the first Doom game I've actually fully played myself and finished. Back in the day, I would like watch my dad play on the PC, or I would play a little bit and be like, this is too scary, and run away. So this was my entry point into the Doom universe, really. And I was just really sucked in by like the cool looking medieval shield and being able to ride a dragon, and it didn't disappoint. Tom and I did a huge breakdown on the podcast. We've like done reviews, we've pitched our Doom games, we've talked about it a lot, but it is definitely one of the standouts of the year. I don't know if you're going to talk about it too, Tom. Is it on your list?
Yeah, it is on my list. And yeah, I pretty much echo what you said. Like, I really enjoyed it. It built a lot on a lot of the elements that they, and the gameplay stuff that they had in Eternal and 2016 Doom. Yeah, it was a fun time. I don't think it's my game of the year necessarily. I think there were a couple things, I guess, similar to like what you were saying about South of Midnight, that towards the end of the game get a little bit repetitive with Doom, like some of the things that they have you doing, compared to some of the other games on my list that like they find ways around things getting too repetitive. But I mean, I love the guns. I love the things that you can do with the guns. I love throwing the shield. Like, you do that in a game, and it's like, it's not hard to like please me with that. So yeah, Doom was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think I have a similar issue, which we discussed, but at the same time, it was just such a pleasant surprise to actually enjoy it, because I really was like, will I like this? Will I not? It's been a while since I've gotten into a shooter like that. And the gameplay is so satisfying. That shield gameplay is just so good. And the game's just so metal, like going inside the throat of a big creature, getting into a mech and like fighting big demon guys and stepping on tanks. Like, it's just so fun. Like, it's hard not to love it. And then finally on my list, which I think I would like crown this as my game of the year so far, is Split Fiction, from the studio whose name I've forgotten.
Hazelight.
Thank you. So their previous game was It Takes Two, which like was very, very successful, and this was building on that. And it's a delight. It's a co-op game. You have to play cooperatively, so make sure you have a friend. And I don't even like, it's just such a delight. It's so unexpected in every single level. You play as these two writers, one in fantasy and one in sci-fi, who are taking part in an experiment to like basically it's like an experimental technology that brings stories to life, and so they get like kind of sucked into their own stories, and because they're in a story together, they keep changing genres. And the way that they've like constructed the co-op gameplay, which is very similar to It Takes Two, having also started playing that this year, is just, yeah, it's just wonderfully fun. It's challenging, but like not to the point of being like, I'm gonna put the controller down and not play today, because you have like that other person encouraging you and you work it out together. It's so easy to play as well that like I only had to purchase it, my friends didn't. They could just like join my game instead of having to buy 2 copies of it. I think that's really cool. And I guess it's just like delightfully weird. Like at any moment, obviously the one that goes around a lot is like when you turn into a hot dog. Like, what is that about? That's crazy, but it's actually so fun, and it just put a big smile on my face. And then even some of the stuff they do towards the end, like I think it is like on par with what I was seeing in Astrobot, where it's just like, how did they do this? Like, this is so fun and visually amazing. And some of the stuff that they're doing in real time, cooperatively, I guess like coming from Australia where the internet is super laggy, I'm like, I don't even actually know how Split Fiction's going down there. But yeah, it was just like, how is this real time? And they're doing all these things on the screen. I'm like, it's incredible. So that's definitely been my standout game of the year, and has like made me a firm fan of Hazelight as a studio.
They're making a movie, Sydney Sweeney. Split Fiction. It's happening.
I don't know about that, but anyway.
It'll be a cooperative movie. One theater will only see one half, and the other theater will
Oh
have
my
to see the other half.
That would
Now we're
actually be
talking.
lit.
That would be sick. That would actually be sick.
And then you have to come together afterwards and discuss both halves of the movie and try and figure out what happened.
Client, start patenting those ideas.
Yeah, that's
Hey, a consulting fee. Hit me up. I'm ready. I'm here to. Tom, you want to give us your list? Or has anyone played any? I know I saw David nodding along to South of Midnight and Split Fiction. Have you played any of those?
We played a little bit of Split Fiction, basically, just so we could put some YouTube stories out about that game. It was interesting. Like my colleague Jem was very much the one leading the charge on that mini review. She did not seem to enjoy it anywhere near as much as most people I know have. I had kind of a good time with it. I thought we were having fun. Jem apparently not so much, not really her bag. That said, Jem is someone who has a gigantic N7 tattoo right across her like chest, basically. So Jem is looking for big, in-depth single-player experiences. I think this not so much that. It's great co-op, but I think for her it was a little bit more surface level overall.
The writing's also the writing's a little cringe. I'm not gonna lie.
the Hazelight needs to work on the dialogue.
Yeah.
Fun
to make fun of.
Like. Yeah, I felt similarly about It Takes Two. Mechanically fantastic, but in terms of like the jokes and the dialogue, not so great. Very little of the setup for Split Fiction makes a huge amount of sense as well. I'm like, why are we going to Google and getting in this machine without signing any waivers? Apparently, like no, there is an incredible lack of attention to detail where it comes to workplace safety in that game.
Yeah, there's a lot of hand waving.
There's a lot of hand waving. You gotta suspend quite a bit of disbelief to get the ball rolling on that story. But I mean, like overall, I did think there's some really cool stuff going on there, and I'm glad that Hazelight is just so committed to this. We're going to make co-op games, and that's what we're gonna do. That's our thing. We're not going to break from that. And like to EA's credit, they haven't made them change course on any of that. They've just let them do their thing in the corner. EA's weird little hobby hut, Hazelight. Yeah, no, I think they're turning out really interesting stuff, and I hope they keep getting to do it.
They do it because Joseph Ferris has blackmail on someone. They don't know what he would
couldn't
say
tell
if
that
they
man
let
no,
him go.
could
He'd
you?
show up at a Game Awards and ruin them. Tom, Drew, what have you played in 2025?
Yeah, so I like you mentioned, like Laura mentioned, I've also played Doom: The Dark Ages. And yeah, basically what I said, like it was fun. I had a fun time with it. It's not going to be my game of the year, but it was a fun time. I also combined this with Duck Detective 2: The Ghost of Glamping, which I played for this very podcast. I did a review. This is just me shilling for that review video. So if you haven't seen the video, check it out. But that was a fun, cute little indie game. Like again, not going to be my game of the year necessarily, but it was like a fun 2-3 hour experience. Just like fun mystery game where you're solving mysteries, little word puzzles and that sort of thing. So it's fun. But the big two games that I've really played from this year are both Switch 2 titles. They're pretty good. I think they're pretty damn good. First one is Mario Kart World, and I've sunk a lot of time into this game. I think I mentioned on the podcast that I showed up to this tournament where people play Mario Kart World, but they're all beginners. I was the pro, I guess, of putting 25 hours into it.
What did they call you, Tom? The professional gamer? Because
they call me the professional gamer podcast friend, and I'm like, you know what? I'll wear that title proudly. I do feel bad for completely crushing them all, but that's besides the point. Mario Kart World, I think it's so much fun. I think they've improved the game so much mechanically from 8. Just like the different flips you can do, the rail grinding. I see a lot of criticism for the connected courses, and I do understand it. I hope they add a mode in online, if they haven't already, where you can just select regular laps. But I really like it. I think it adds a little a cool element of having to drive to these things, especially with Knockout Tour. Knockout Tour is the greatest thing that they could have done to Mario Kart, in my opinion. I love this idea of having to do this complete endurance race where you have to drive from course to course to course non-stop, and it really adds so much more tension and stakes to Mario Kart, especially with how much more chaotic it is this time round. And even the open world, like I like the open world for what it is. I wish there were some changes. I wish there were like better ways of like keeping track of like all the challenges you've done and some of those sorts of things. But I guess similar to like how we talking about like Schedule One and these like life sim games. Really, that's what like this Mario Kart like world like open world like mode is. It's just like vibing in this thing. I'll put a podcast on, I'll put some music on, and I'm just chilling like in this world as Yoshi, and I'm eating some sushi for some reason. And then my costume changes, and it's just like dumb fun.
Are there things to do, like go around and like pick
There are
up
some,
parts and things like that?
yeah. So there are like little challenges that you can do. Like you'll find like switches that you can like run into, and it'll activate a challenge. And it'll be like the small like collect 8 coins in this enclosed area, or
Right.
like do this mini race, or do this challenge to get like through this ring. So there's little things like that you can do around the world. They're kind of they range from like, okay, this is really easy, to actually like quite difficult. Some of them. And I have fun with them. Like I know some people take issue with them, but I think they're a little bit of fun. Um, Particularly how challenging they get. But yeah, Mario Kart World, I like it. I think it's good. But that the real Switch 2 game is Donkey Kong Bonanza. Like Donkey Kong Bonanza, like should have been arguably. I mean, maybe not sales wise, because Mario Kart it is a system seller.
Something like a 96% attach rate on Mario Kart right now with Switch 2s.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
like
it was like of the 6 million units they've sold, apparently only 400,000 or so went out the door without a copy of Mario Kart attached.
Insane.
Wow.
Insane.
yeah,
That would be me.
and yeah, and I think it's all of us, right? Like Klein as well. Like you got the Mario Kart bundle too.
I got the bundle.
So
It was
it's like
cheaper. I'm like, if I'm going to get this game at any point, I'm saving $30 buying it, right?
exactly,
Yep.
like it made sense. But I think Donkey Kong is the true like showcase of what the Switch 2 can do. Like I said, I finished it last night, and this game I think is just incredible. I think just the ways that they've improved things from Mario Odyssey in terms of like how you interact with the world as DK, the different Bonanza abilities that you get, the ones that they reveal, like the zebra and the ostrich, are really cool. But there's some that they haven't revealed yet that are I would argue, even cooler than those ones. And like I mentioned, like I think this game does such a good job of like, just as you're like, okay, I'm punching through dirt, I'm collecting bananas, like whatever. It adds another element, another like material in the world, a new enemy type, or different boss fights, especially as you go towards the end of the game. Like some of those boss fights get like crazy. It just keeps your attention going through the whole thing. The fact that this game, like I looked at my like in-game timer, and I'm not sure how accurate the Switch 2's like timer is all the time, but it's like 25 hours, and the fact that it kept my attention like I was locked in the whole time is just so impressive. And I can't believe the scale of it, and how amazing it is. I will sing this game's praises for a long time, I think. There's still more to do in it as well. But I think this is probably, I mean, look, I haven't played Clair Obscur. I really want to. I haven't played Death Stranding 2. I also want to play that. And there's some other games late in the year that could potentially eke this out. But at the moment, I think my game of the year probably is Bonanza, and I think it's going to be quite difficult to shift that for now.
Bonanza was also on my list, so I'll talk about it here. I agree with everything you said, Tom. I think it is wondrous. I think it is the killer app for the Nintendo Switch. I, coming into it, was maybe a little down on it because it wasn't 3D Mario. And then I heard it was the 3D Mario team, and I was even more down on it because I'm like, now we're going to have to wait even longer for a 3D Mario. I take it all back. I didn't know what I had. I think it's absolutely fantastic. It feels like a true successor to not just the Donkey Kong games, but to Odyssey, in the way that they really they took the moon idea of Odyssey, where there's cool things to do all over and moons to get them, and really incentivized you to get as many as you possibly could. And I think it's an amazing game. There's people who maybe find it a little mindless. crazy to me. It is just so much fun. It is instant gratitude. The game, the second that game starts, you are smashing things, you're getting bananas, you are hearing amazing music, you're fighting enemies. The bosses maybe could have been a little bit harder, but I'm not complaining. I have finished the post game now, so I'm bonanza's out. I think I am 35 hours done through it. It held my attention all the way through, but at the end I was like, maybe I bananaed too close to the sun. Like this is done for me. But it's great. Shout out. I saw a headline going around. I didn't actually read the story. There's somebody who's, I think at Polygon in the States, has written how Donkey Kong Bonanza is the modern day Dante's Inferno. And that's hilarious. That is so funny because it is literally about burrowing into the earth. But yeah, Donkey Kong Bonanza, shout out.
Yeah, I mean that's a crazy comparison, but kind of apt, I guess, in a way. David, you kind of briefly mentioned you maybe dabbled in Mario Kart World Donkey Kong. Have you had a chance to play?
I've played quite a bit of both, but I was just like, I'll take my foot off the accelerator on those ones. Let the other guys talk about them.
Nice.
I like them both. I feel like I don't like Donkey Kong Bonanza as much as everybody else seems to, because man, by the time the credits rolled, I was ready to be done with it. I was ready to put the controller down. That thing went on, in my opinion, too long. I really love the tech. I really love that voxel smashing tech that they've built the whole game on. I do feel like it's its greatest asset and maybe its greatest weakness as well, because man, was I getting stuck through the review playthrough pre-release. The camera just constantly getting snagged on stuff and like wanting to show me through the world the way that does where I am, but not being able to like
he's somewhere in this
get
film.
there.
We'll find him.
Oh, like I can hear him smash and he'll come out eventually. I did like that it's not throwing up barriers to like getting to a banana. If I see it, I can probably figure out a way to smash my way over there and pick up a banana. I also loved that there's such a surprising reverence for all the old Rare stuff. Like even the little crystal dudes who tell you where to go and like give you little hints on what you can do next look like Banjo-Kazooie characters. I'm like, this
everything's
like,
got eyes on it. That's the rare thing.
Yeah.
Is they put Google eyes
that's
on
such
everything.
a rare thing. And I think I said in my review, like I wouldn't have been surprised if Nintendo had treated this as a bit of a reset for the character and been like, well, it's been 20, 25 years since Rare was around. Like they went to Xbox in 2002. We can probably like, do something with the character. We can make some changes to the character and rebuild him for a new generation. And instead, they've basically said, no, what Rare did to the character so transformed its DNA, we have no choice but to honor it. Like we're going to like really double down on what Rare did to the legacy of that character. When people think of Donkey Kong now, they think less of the arcade original and they think more of challenging Donkey Kong Country style platformers. They've even had Retro, the studio that Nintendo brought in as a second party to functionally replace Rare, making Donkey Kong Country games. They've just never quite let that series go, and I could feel it flowing through this. That was very, very cool. I like I said, I feel like I don't love it quite as much as a lot of other people seem to, and I do expect to see it on a lot of Game of the Year lists at the end of the year. Totally deserves to be there. I feel like it's a game I'm going to return to later when I'm not under the time crunch pressure of a pre-release review, and I think that might be the thing that helps me like it more. It is interesting, like Klein, you point out the Super Mario Odyssey team working on that one. I do wonder if this is like an A and a B team thing, because there ain't no way they're not working on another Mario game right now.
Even this week, the Twitter investigative police are out there, and someone noticed that I think it's the director and the narrative lead from Odyssey are not in the credits to this game.
Yeah,
you knew it. A and B team.
It's like
he's
they're working on something else. They have something else going on.
Yeah, there's no way they're not working on another Mario game. Odyssey was such a success. There's no way they're not. So I did wonder about that. I'm sort of like, this is like, there is a certain element of like proof of concept to Bonanza, where it's like, okay, we've got this voxel smashing tech that we've worked out. how do we build a game around that? Because that's always sort of the Nintendo thing. We have this one central hook, and then we're going to embroider it and figure out how to maximize absolutely everything out of it. Very similar to the way Valve built Portal back in the day. They looked at what Nintendo does, and then they just kind of extrapolated that. So it wouldn't surprise me if that was just sort of like, we dedicate what for us would be maybe 3/4 of what would be a Super Mario team to making this. And while we're doing that, have everybody else over here working on a brand new Super Mario. I look forward to seeing it. First, Nintendo's got to get me a Metroid Prime date, because at this point,
it's coming. It'll be December. They've done it before. Smash Bros.
I'm starting to feel like I'm getting punked, man. I was at E3 in 2017 when they announced that thing. I'm like, this is an elaborate joke from Nintendo on me at this point.
God.
I mean, they had that Underground ad that was like, "It's out now, guys." So
don't even.
Really
oh my god, my heart couldn't.
Almost
take
going to
it.
make a pilgrimage, but they took it down.
So sad. So sad.
We'll hop over to my list. I'll be quick because I don't think anyone else has played anything on this list other than Donkey Kong Bananza is on my list, so I won't dive too deeply into that. I want to shout out Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo. This is the least talked about game I have seen this year, quality-wise. Like, if you were to chart it, it would be top of the list. This is one of the best Metroidvania Zelda clones I have ever played. It is absolutely incredible. You can play it on Switch, you can play it on PlayStation, you can play it on Xbox. Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo. It looks like a classic Game Boy Advance game, this top-down Zelda-inspired art style with an incredible Metroidvania hook where you have a yo-yo and you're learning tricks to it, and those tricks are new battle mechanics, new traversal, double jumps, wall bounces, all sorts of fun stuff. It is so much fun. I saw it recommended to me through a podcast I was listening to. I decided to give it a shot. The more I think about it, the more I love it, and it ekes out Clair Obscur for me, and I adored Clair Obscur. I think that this game is it's so much fun, especially for somebody who grew up with the GBA and just this like really Nickelodeon feeling world and amazing pixel art and incredible music. And just, if you had told me this was a Nintendo game, I would believe you. So Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo. And then the other one, right now, my current game of the year, even though I adored Donkey Kong Bonanza, and this was like really hard thinking about, but Monster Train 2 is just, I'm a deck building sicko. I like deck building roguelites. Slay the Spire 2 is supposed to come later this year, so this will not be the last time I talk about this genre this year. Monster Train 2 took an excellent formula from the first one. I'm not a huge fan of the art of this world, but the card playing gameplay is so much fun. You essentially are building a train to get out of hell or into hell. In this case, it is out of hell. And it's just, for somebody like me who has spent hours playing Magic the Gathering in people's basements, I can sit here on my computer and play hours of this forever and ever and ever. And just when I thought I'd beaten it and I'd unlocked all the cards for all of the champions that they have, all the, I guess, like element types that you would build decks around, they're like, hey, guess what? All of the champions from the first game are also here. And now there is like a second half to the game where you are now mixing and matching the champions from the old game with the new one. And it's amazing. It is, I think it's my favorite deck building roguelike I've played, and I've played hundreds of hours of Slay the Spire. So that is just what I will put there. I highly recommend. I don't think anyone on this podcast that is their genre. Maybe you, David. I don't know.
I've been specifically putting off playing Monster Train 2 because I know once I do, it's over for me. I won't play anything else for the rest of the year.
It's excellent. It does that thing that any great deck building, any game, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, anything, where when you get that synergy going, and it's just like, I play this one card and just destroy. Like, it isn't even funny what I'm doing to this other team. And my brain, I can just hear it, like, it's like my computer heating up. I can hear the fans in my brain just burring, and it's fantastic.
Yep. This is why I had to quit Balatro and uninstall it and never allow myself to put it back on the computer.
Oh my god!
I got that first roll going. I was like, oh no!
It's like a drug. No. It really is. It's like,
truly.
You crack it open for the first time. You're like, for the first couple hours, I'm trying to figure it out. What do these words mean? And then you get that first one, and it's like, oh my god, give me more of that. Yep. So yeah. Monster Train 2, I highly recommend. I'm actually debating, because right now I just have it on Game Pass on my PC. It's on Switch. I could take this game with me.
Oh.
So
No, you can't do that. You can't take it portable.
yeah. But yeah, that's my list. Monster Train, Donkey Kong, and Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo. I think quickly, before we finish this, I just want to look ahead a little bit. We have a lot of games coming. Is there anything that you think, guys, I have a list in the document. I'm not going to read every one of them. Is there anything that you think is coming that could potentially dethrone your favorite game of the year so far? The number one thing you're maybe most looking forward to coming up this year? Lauren, I think I know what your answer is, but I'd love to hear it come out of your mouth.
I actually have two. So one is the obvious one. It's going to be Ghost of Yotei. I'm like quite traditionally a big Sony first party shill. And so for it to be like, because we've also had Death Stranding 2 this year, which I'm surprised. I guess none of us have really played it, but I know that's probably going to be on a lot of Game of the Year lists. But so yeah, this is their second big one this year. But like, I just love Ghost of Tsushima so much. I haven't even finished it, but I plan to replay before this new one comes out. And yeah, like everything I've seen of it, I'm like, this is going to be great. So I'm like clearing my schedule around that time to make sure that I can play it all. Because yeah, I think realistically, like it's just speaking to me in every single way that I feel like it's going to be an easy Game of the Year pick for me. But could be surprised. I was surprised by Helldivers last year, so you never know. But the other one I'm keeping an eye on, which I actually kind of briefly talked about a couple of weeks ago, I think, was that I played the demo for Tiny Bookshop. I haven't stopped thinking about it since. I'm actually counting down the days until it comes out. It's like, I think a week from today or something like that. Because it's just like, I think I'm being a lot more intentional with my gaming this year. And like, I do have those big 10 polls that I really want to try and get through. But obviously I'm like, okay, that's going to carve out a month here and a month there, simply because I have like less time. And I also have to be way more intentional about my gaming setup because I don't really have like a traditional setup anymore. It's more like I'm just playing in bed on my portable monitor. So if I want to play something, I have to really want to play it. And this one is on Steam. So it's like, oh, I forget that like Macs are actually like you can run Steam these days. And the one, like I actually have a pretty decent MacBook that can run games now. So that's kind of opened up this new world for me. And this demo for Tiny Bookshop was one that really grabbed my attention. And strange things have happened. It could end up being like something that really gets over the line for me because it's just so cozy and cute. And I love books and reading, and it really plays to all those things and kind of the indie cozy game part of my brain. So we'll have to see which one wins in like 5 months.
It's coming up quick. We'll be at Game of the Year in no time. I'll shout out a couple that I'm really looking forward to quickly here. Metal Gear Solid Delta. My only Metal Gear game is Metal Gear Solid 5, but I want to love these games because I've been told I would absolutely adore them. And then Luminous Arise. If I had to bet what my game of the year will be, I think it will be Luminous Arise because I love Luminous. I love Tetris Effect. You are giving me a Luminous game from the Tetris Effect team. This could potentially be an all-timer. And so I'm very much looking forward to that. And also, I got excited by the Battlefield 6 hype. So I am looking forward to playing Battlefield 6.
Jesus. Klein, I'm
just
shocked
gets
that
really
there's
taken
no...
in by a trailer with Limp Bizkit in it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Klein, I'm shocked there's no Tony Hawk representation anywhere in the conversation today.
It's just such an easy... The sky is blue. Okay, Tony Hawk is good. Klein likes Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk is one of my favorite games of the year. It's fantastic. I will continue to say it's fantastic. But it's Tony Hawk. Like, we got... I'm almost... I don't know. I'm not going to say I'm underwhelmed by the game because it is exactly what I thought it would be and wanted it to be. It's Tony Hawk 3 and 4, the games I absolutely adore in modern graphics with great music, and it will be my forever game. Like I will continue to play that game till the end of time.
All right. Well, if I see Battlefield taking over for Tony Hawk, I'm gonna like.
I like Battlefield. I reviewed Battlefield 2042 a few years ago for Mobile Syrup when I was freelancing. And like I love these Battlefield games, and this to me looks like, as you said at the beginning, David, like it looks like a return to Battlefield 3 and 4. That excites me. All the destruction sounds fun. It's Limp Bizkit, you know.
Go on, man.
Just one of those
I'm not
days.
going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. As long as
Well, Brie Larson plays, so I'm contractually obliged to play now.
Yeah, that's true. I did hear from a few friends over there that Brie Larson was at that event playing Battlefield.
Then this event was across the road from the hotel I was staying at the night before. I was like, I would have jumped the rooftop.
How did you not get in, mate? How did they stop you?
I was physically
EA.
on a plane.
Get at us next time. We're there.
Yeah.
David, what on this list, or maybe something else, what is coming up in 2025 that you were looking forward to that you think could top your list or be close to by the end of the year?
Oh man, I mean, I'm like Lauren. I'm psyched for Ghost of Yotei. Like Tsushima is one of my favorite Sony first party titles they've ever done. You can keep your God of Wars, your Last of Us is like I much prefer Tsushima. I really love what was going on there, and I am excited for more of that.
David is like the first person who I message whenever something ghost related happens. I'm like, oh my god, we just rant
I'm
about
psyched.
it together.
I am psyched about that game. I'm very interested to check it out. What else we got coming up? We got a bunch of stuff on this list. I'm interested in Pokemon Legends ZA.
The more I see, the less I'm interested.
I liked the first one. I'm kind of like, it's not one I'm going to like rush out for or anything like that, but I am kind of like, okay, what are we doing here? Interesting. Metro Prime, if we actually get a date, I will be there with bells on. I have waited long. Have I waited for another one of these? I hope, God, I hope it's good. Agree with you, Klein. Luminous Nation Rise Up. Cannot wait for that one. Should be really, really good. I think that's probably the big one. I mean, is anyone on Earth psyched for Gears of War Reloaded at this point? Like, we're getting that one out on PlayStation. Okay.
As someone
fine.
who's played Gears 5 but hasn't played the original, I loved Gears 5 when I played it. I would like to experience those games. I remember the commercial, Mad World.
All right, glad. I'm glad someone's looking forward to it, because I've sort of just like struggled to be like, oh my God, are they going to make me play that one again? All right. I mean, although it seems like the stuff that Xbox has been putting out on PlayStation has done really well for them this year. Like
best-selling stuff on PlayStation this year.
6 of PlayStation's top 10 games sold this year have been Xbox stuff. So it seems like that strategy is working out for Phil Spencer. Beyond that, I mean, I think those are the big ones. Obviously, to shout out the Australian devs, I am excited to check out Baby Steps as well. That just looks madness. Those guys make really weird but still very interesting stuff, and I am keen to check that one out as well.
Tom, anything we haven't talked about here that you want to throw out there?
A lot of them might echo with you guys, like Ghost, like David. I'm curious with Pokemon Legends that I am the Pokemon guy, so like I have to play it like day one. Unfortunately, I have brain worms. I brain
across you bear.
Rayquazas. They have to be sated somehow. But in terms of other stuff, Ninja Gaiden 4, I remember, like, I've not played Ninja Gaiden or like any of those games before, but I remember the trailer looking pretty cool. I don't know if that's gonna be game.
There's the 2D one which came out this week.
Yeah, and that looks
really good.
Amazing. Yeah, so that looks really cool. The only one that I'll shout out is one that I already mentioned from the Switch 2 Direct. Chronos: The New Dawn. Like, I think Bloober Team really turned a corner with Silent Hill 2. This game, honestly, like the whole vibe of it, I think looks awesome. The whole mystery of it and why you're kind of in this weird world, and how enemies can, like, once you kill an enemy, it can be like sucked up by another enemy and like create this new evolved version of another enemy, and like how that progresses. I think that's a really cool mechanic. So yeah, I think those are the big ones. Metal Gear, obviously, as well. I think I'm interested to see how that remake turns out, because it looks very faithful, and I'm hopeful for what that could be. But those are the big ones, I think. Yeah,
I am excited to hear what Klein thinks of MGS3 coming from 5, which is 5 is so different from any of the other games in that series.
I know. So I have been obsessed with the Metal Gear franchise from afar for a very long time. I remember probably over a decade ago, watching like a 40-hour breakdown of the plot. So I very much know where MGS3 sits in the whole like Metal Gear franchise. I've been a one credit card swipe away from buying that collection for over a year. Like I want to play all of them, and I've actually thought about, like, right now we're in a little bit of a gap that I might try and play at least one, because I think I could burn through the first one pretty quick, but we'll see.
New Game
It's
Plus,
coming at the
maybe.
end of the month,
Maybe one
and
month.
that's a busy time.
Yeah. I hope if this one does well for Konami that they'll give MGS 1 and 2 the sort of Yakuza Kiwami treatment and just really like give those games a fresh coat of paint, put them back out. I think they deserve it, even if Kojima's not attached to it anymore. I do think those games like should be playable and look and run nice on modern machines, because do not swipe your card on that collection, Klein. It's oof. Oof, they are not putting their best foot forward on that one.
Well, they're just very much it's the original game just on a new system, and they may or may not even run super well. But hey, you know, you got to get your fix somehow. I shout out to the journalist this week that had the gumption to ask Kojima if he was going to be playing MGS3 remake, and he promptly said, "I don't think so."
We were specifically told when he was in Australia recently not to ask him about anything to do with MGS. Didn't want to hear about it. So that was a big no-no.
When's that coming? The Metal Gear Solid follow-up. I'm just obsessed with that man. That's ultimately why I want to play this franchise. But that's what's coming in 2025. If you can let us know over on social media what you're most excited about, what you have been playing, all your game of the year so far. It's also what our comment corner question of the week is. What is your game of the year in 2025 so far? Also, let us know what you've been playing. What have we been playing? Anything exciting over the last little bit? Anything? Lauren, you were away for 2 weeks, so have you played any games?
I don't really have many gaming stories to share. I've just been playing Animal Crossing because I was in a lot of lines and I could take my Switch with me. So yeah, I was just checking on my island. I thought I could share some Comic-Con stories. There wasn't a huge ton of gaming related events at Comic-Con this year. In previous years, we've had kind of reasonably large panels. There was one for Dragon Age last year. I think the year before that was the Spider-Man 2 panel. So I didn't catch a huge amount of those. There was some like Marvel Rivals stuff, some Marvel Snap stuff, couple of things here or there, but nothing really made waves. However, I had the crazy opportunity. Like right before Comic-Con started, they announced that Neil Druckmann, creator of The Last of Us, one of the producers on the show, CEO at Naughty Dog, I think he's the CEO now, right? Yeah. Was doing a signing, and I was like, well, I have to have it, clearly. And the way signings work at Comic-Con is that you just have to be the first one in line, basically. And at this particular booth, it worked by you get in line, you go up and you press a button, and it's like a roll of a dice. And if you get like a number higher than a certain point, you get yes. And if not, you have to go to the back of the line. And you really only get one chance because the line is so long at this point. So there were 2 days to try it. And for the signing, which was on Saturday, I think. And yeah, I got in line at like 5 a.m. Convention hall opened at 9, and then we like booked it straight to the Dark Horse booth, and it was already full. I was like, what is happening? This is awful. But there was a lot of other signings happening that day as well. So some people were there for there was like a Nathan Fillion thing. There was like a Resident Alien thing. There was all sorts of things that other people might have wanted in line. But there was quite a few people dressed as Ellie. So I was like, this is not a good sign for me. And it wasn't. I got up and I rolled my dice and I didn't get it. And I was devastated. But then my friend who was behind me, she wanted a different signing, but she saw how upset I was and then rolled for it. And she actually it's a D20 dice on the iPad, and she got a critical hit. And I was like, that's crazy. And so she gave me the signing, which was very kind, because none of the other friends got it either. So it's just it is literally a roll of the dice with these things at Comic-Con. But anyway, long-winded story to get to the point that I got to go to Neil Druckmann's signing. I was way more nervous than I thought I would be. I have obviously interviewed, talent and celebrities before, and I can usually keep a lid on it. But this was a very different situation where you just go up to this person who's created one of the things that you love the most. And I was like, what do I even say? I had nothing pre-planned. I was ready to drop $200 on the art books that they were selling for Neil to sign them, but apparently I could only get one thing signed, so I did not do that. I did buy them later though. Anyway, And yeah, so I was dressed in my Last of Us shirt. I was wearing the pendant. He was like, "Love your shirt, love your pendant." I was like, "Do you like the tattoo?" He's like, "Great tattoo," and he showed me his tattoo. He's got the switchblade tattoo now, and he's also got Abby's hammer on the other arm. And I was telling him how I got, climbed that we went to Seattle and I got that tattoo there, and he was asking if I'd been to the aquarium and things like that, and I said yes. Should point out he's just like he was being super chill about it. Everyone was being very respectful. I will say the people in front of me who I was like sort of standing nearby while they were talking, I think they brought up something about the show. I didn't hear the exact exchange, but they did bring up season 2, and I think they were not happy about it. So he was doing a bit of like, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that." So that was awkward. I was like, I will not be going up to him in my time and saying, "Wow, the show should have been better." But anyway, yeah, so that was a really great interaction. He was like very generous with time, and before I left, I just said I'm really excited for Intergalactic, and he's like, "It's going to be amazing. Like, just you wait." So that was a really cool interaction, and definitely the highlight of my Comic-Con this year, and just one of the very cool things that I didn't know that he was going to be there until a few days before. Otherwise, I would have brought something legitimate for him to sign. But that's how these things happen, and now I'm like collecting my Infinity Gauntlet of The Last of Us people. I think I really only need to hit Ashley, and I've got pretty much all of them.
Yeah, you hit Troy and
crown
Neil
jewel,
in the
right?
same year.
Yep, Troy and Neil. We also got Troy last year. Was it last year, David, at South by Southwest? Or was that the year before?
It was 2023.
Okay.
That was when we went to that secret show of his. Yeah,
that was cool. And yeah, I got Laura Bailey in 2023 as well, and Najee we saw this year too.
God, dude, what we're just establishing is that Lauren is the coolest person ever. Like,
yeah.
Like, it's insane. Like, it's insane that you've met all these people and like,
Well, like
just
the
getting to
luckiest
interact with them.
person.
It's just insane. It's so cool.
Also the brokest.
Yeah, coming off Comic-Con.
Yeah,
Those $200 art books,
Yeah.
they don't pay for themselves.
Yeah. You left San Diego Comic-Con with art books and Neil Druckmann's signature. He left with your money.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to quickly shout out just what I've been playing. This is a unique one. I saw in the Direct a demo was released for Shinobi Art of Vengeance, which is the new game coming from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge team. They do this really incredible thing where every frame in their games is hand-drawn, hand-animated. This is a 2D action platformer similar to the new Ninja Gaiden game that just came out. I was going to pick up Ninja Gaiden, and I am now waiting because I think I'm going to like Shinobi a little bit more. The demo's so much fun. It reminded me a lot of Prince of Persia, and so I will be picking up this game because it will fill that Lost Crown void. Not a Metroidvania, very clearly you go through this stage, you fight a boss at the end, but just the combat feels so much like the Lost Crown from last year. So shout out Shinobi. There's a demo available right now. You can play Steam, Switch, Xbox, everywhere. And it's coming in just a couple of weeks. So Shinobi Art of Vengeance is my shout out for the week.
That sounds amazing. I've kind of had my eye on it. The fact when you said Prince of Persia, Lost Crown, mechanics like that,
and you're by the time I finished the first level, you're doing button stuff that felt very Prince of Persia by like, if I throw him up in the air and knock him a couple times and then knock him back down the ground and he bounces and I can get him on the way down again. Like the way you're just comboing these enemies off of each other is very Prince of Persia.
Yeah, that sounds sick. I'll definitely give that demo a try. But yeah, the only thing I've been playing is Donkey Kong Bonanza. I'm not going to go on about it much anymore. I feel like I've said like my piece with it. It's amazing. It's really good. The final boss fight, oh my god, just like insane, like what they do with it. But yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Insane
really.
what they do with the frame rate is what I'll say.
Oh yeah,
that's the only time where the frame rate in the game really bugged me. Where I'm this is rough. What's happening right now?
Because when we were doing the review in progress with Brad, like I was like, oh yeah, it's not like too bad for the most of the game. Like when you fast travel, maybe you can get a bit rocky. That last boss fight, it's pretty rough. But
when we played it in previews, the frame rate was significantly worse, and they've cleaned it up a lot. Like there was a lot of optimization that went on before that thing came out. But yes, there are certainly some sequences where the frame rate's going down to single digits.
I can't believe that was envisioned as a Switch One game initially. That
I know.
truly baffles me. I cannot comprehend what that would even look like. And David, have you been playing anything else? You mentioned Clair Obscur, but you said gaming time right now is fairly sparse.
Fairly sparse, but I have got the desktop that I'm currently broadcasting to you on right now set back up, so I can actually play a few extra games. I've been in the intervening time while I've been waiting to get the computer set back up. I have been going sort of back to a few favorites. I've been playing a bunch of Frontier stuff, going back to Jurassic World Evolution 2. That's another one I forgot to put on my list for later in the year is
Evolution 3.
Jurassic World Evolution 3. I am keen. I love that series. Just really great park builders, like super accessible, not as intricate or occasionally gnarly with submenus as things like Planet Zoo and Planet Roller Coaster can be. Those are much more involved. Lots of fun, but very involved. Did play a little bit of Planet Zoo recently. I just wanted to try out the PS5 version because it's going up on the PlayStation Plus collection. It's interesting. I think Jurassic World Evolution 1 and 2 have much better console ports than Planet Zoo does, simply because of Planet Zoo's complexity. It makes it a little bit tougher to put it on a controller. Other than that, yeah, I'm kind of just now trying to play catch up. Yeah, play Claire Obscure, spend a little bit more time trying to catch up on stuff I've missed.
Just play Claire Obscure.
Yeah,
right
just
through to the
donate
end.
all my time just to that for now, and we'll see how far we get through.
Are you a Civ person, David? You mentioned like the park builders. You are. Did Civ 7 this year do anything for you?
It's okay. It's all right.
I just got Epic Game Store had all of Civ 6 with all the expansions for free, and I picked it up. And I've never played Civ, but I'm like, if I'm going to give it a try, now's the opportunity.
Civ 6 is really good. Like, it's a really good like starter Civ. Like, if you've never played those games before, Civ 6 is a very accessible way to get into it and learn about those games. Civ 7 kind of tried to wind the clock back a little bit and get back into some of the crunchier stuff of like Civ 4, Civ 5. I don't know if it's entirely successful. It's kind of trying to bridge the gap between 5 and 6, I think. Find something that's less accessible than 6, but not quite as hardcore as 5. I don't know that it gets there. It's good. I think it maybe needed some more time and a little bit more work on it. But like anything, Civ 6 wasn't great right away. You know, like that
seems to be
a lot of different expansions.
It comes out as okay, and then 5 expansions later, it's like, oh, this is the best one in the series.
They fine-tune the living hell out of it. So keep an eye on Civ 7 once it starts. Like, if you can pick it up for free on Epic eventually, definitely do that, and then just tack on a bunch of expansions, and you'll find that game, I think, really comes into its own later on. There was another one I was looking to try as well. There was TMNT Tactical Takedown.
Yes.
Was the sort of XCOM style tactical Ninja Turtles game. I just thought that was such a strange combination of stuff to be putting into one game. Definitely want to try that as well if I get a little bit of extra time.
Okay, that's what we've been playing. Let's hop on over to Comic Corner. I already mentioned it. We have a question of the week. It is, what is your game of the year? And we have a comment coming from Nick Rivali. Tom, what's our comment for this week?
Yeah, so last week, Klein and I did like a blind ranking of Nintendo platformers. So we were ranking a bunch of different Nintendo platformers, but not seeing all the options up front. And we ended up ranking Donkey Kong Bonanza as number 1 on that list. And Nick here responds to that saying, I'll say the joke now, recency bias for Donkey Kong Bonanza. Though to be serious, it is recency bias, just like how people had recency bias when Super Mario Odyssey came out. So I'd personally put it at 4 for now until recency bias buys off, so that opinions can be made without that bias in the equation. And that's fair, honestly. Like, and you know, talk to us in a month time after we've had some time to sit with Donkey Kong Bonanza. Maybe we'll be like, yeah, it was fine. Maybe we'll be like that. Maybe we'll be like, oh yeah, it was okay. But I don't know. I have a good feeling about it. I think this game has legs. I think I've finished it, like I mentioned. I've got a lot of post game to go, and I'm still eager. I'm still eager to go back to it and see what else this game has to offer. But no, thank you for the comment so much. And yeah, if you got any thoughts on this episode, Donkey Bananza, anything, let us know. We'd love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, let us
Get
know
in the comments. Tell me why I'm wrong.
Why did David hate Donkey Kong Bonanza? You
That's
can let
right.
us know comments here on YouTube, Spotify, anywhere, social media. Please let us know. Also, you can chime in on our New Game Plus Video Game Book Club Game of the Month. For the month of August, we are playing the very first Portal. Some of us for the first time, some of us for the incredibly motion sickness inducing second time. So it'll be a lot of fun when we get into it in a couple of weeks here. You can always follow the show over on Instagram and Blue Sky at Controller Club Pod, at Controller_Club on Twitter, and at Controller.Club on TikTok. Also, if you are listening to the pod, we do have a video version. You can subscribe over on Controller Club on YouTube. Leave us a comment, hit the bell, thumbs up. Interact. It really helps us out. And as always, you can send us an email, controllerclubpod@gmail.com. David, thank you so much for joining us. Where can people keep up with you? What do you have going on in your life? We're rolling out the red carpet for you. Let them know what you have happening.
Oh man, what a treat to be back on this show. This show's a jam, man. Like I love that like this is a show built on positivity. I'm always happy to be here. Thank you for having me back. You can find me across social media at Runewords. That's RHUNWORDS. Right across social media. You can also find me at ABC Gamer on YouTube. Please come by, like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. See what we're doing. Hope you like it. Stick around if you do. We've got reviews, news, shorts, all sorts of stuff happening over there. Please check it out.
Lauren, what do you have going on in your life now that you're back in the quote unquote real world? You're out of the San Diego bubble. What's happening and where can people keep up with you?
Yes, it was very much a vacuum, but you can follow me at lrouse19 on Blue Sky, Twitter, and TikTok. I didn't, like I said, it was a vacuum, so I haven't really posted or kept up with posting with what was going on there, but I am planning to do a bit of some cut down videos and post some pictures from the time as a bit of a recap. Also did some stuff, with the direct while I was there. We were there as a team and got a couple of an interview there that I'm going to be posting shortly. Or maybe it'll be in 3 months, who knows, but it'll go live at some point.
That's the way it works in this media game.
Yeah.
You never know when you can say things and what you can say at any given time. Tom Drew, what do you have happening? Opening any Pokemon cards lately? Where can people find all that great content? Drawn any pictures? I was scrolling on Reddit the other day and I see an image and I'm like, wait a second. I've seen this image before. Tom Drew, you're on my Reddit feed. What's happening? You're invading everywhere. I can't get rid of you.
Yeah, I'm spreading my wings. Got to get the algorithm. It's a constant fight. Got to get everywhere you can be. Yeah, you can find me at Tom Drew Art, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, Reddit, basically everywhere. I'm living up to the Tom Drew Art name. I know I haven't posted art in like 6 months. So I thought I should maybe do that for a change. So if you saw Fantastic Four First Steps, I did some like fan art from that movie, basically of Sue Storm, on kind of like a magazine cover story sort of vibe. So like the movie, go check it out. If you didn't like the movie, go check it out anyway. Give it a like. That'd be nice. But yeah, if you like that, go check it out.
Excellent. And you can keep up with me as always. I'm at the Kleinfelt, TheKleinFelt. Gonna be potentially, maybe, I don't know. I also at that same at the Kleinfelt, I'm on Twitch. Thinking of maybe going live for the EVO Grand Finals this weekend. We'll see. Might do a watch along if I can get this podcast up early enough. I might be live watching EVO. Come hang out because it is EVO weekend and I cannot be more excited. I'm going to watch fighting games all weekend long. It's going to be the best.
EVO's so good.
It is very good. I also re-downloaded Street Fighter, so that addiction is going to pick back up again. Tom, let's get in the dojo. Let's make this happen.
Let's do it.
That's going to wrap up this episode of Controller Club. As always, thank you so much for listening. Now, let's get gaming.